But we do have the soccer story now. Scores killed at an Egypt soccer match. We got the one and only Matt Bradley coming to us live from Cairo with this. Matt, the death toll, I understand, the latest one I have here is 73. What do you have?
73 is the latest here too, but this is the most violent incident since the revolution, the single most violent incident, and it's largely unpolitical. It's not really pushed by any particular political goal. So it's left a lot of Egyptians and a lot of political analysts very confused about exactly what is going on here, and it figures into part of it has to do with just the lack of law enforcement that has been on the streets since the revolution.
I've got to ask you. I mean, I grew up with this sort of activity on the football field because I grew up in the UK. Is this normal in Egypt, as normal as it is in, say, Britain?
We have to remember that Egyptian society is quite different from British society in the sense that there just isn't the kind of alcohol-fueled violence that you'd see in Britain. So it's you see violence, you see hooliganism here, but it rarely reaches this kind of criminality with dozens of people dead, nearly 75 people dead, and that number is probably set to rise. So this is a highly unusual event. It's highly unusual even for some of the violent political protests and sectarian clashes that have happened in the last year, and it's even more unusual for a soccer match.
Right, so in some ways it's almost more harrowing in that it's not the alcohol talking, it's somehow a genuine expression of violence and violent need of rage. So, and to that point, is there something in here, Matt, that it's not about politics, it's about soccer, but is there something going on in Egypt overall right now that's just got people at such a on edge and so ripe perhaps to strike violently against others?
Well, to be quite honest, I'm having a little bit of trouble myself wrapping my head around it, and speaking to some of the political analysts and others that I've talked to, they're also just totally shocked and floored by the scale of the violence here. But, this is not unusual in the sense that there has been a lot of violent catharsis, non-political, just anger that has been pouring out, and we saw this in the week leading up to the parliamentary vote in late November, and we saw it again a few weeks later, right in the environs of Tahrir Square in downtown Cairo, where the revolution kicked off last year. So this sort of thing has been happening, and it's been escalating. And so it's not unusual in the sense that there has been quite a bit of violence that hasn't necessarily been tied to political goals. And this is what makes it so unmanageable and so terrifying for so many Egyptians, simply because it's so difficult to understand. It's a new phenomenon.
Yeah.
Right, and when we were on here the other day, Matt, I think we sort of discussed whether Egyptians' lives were better today than they were a year ago. I think your answer was not, and this is probably another another reason why.
This says certainly not. I'm afraid we have to leave it there, but thank you very much, Matt Bradley, coming to us live from Cairo with that report.